In the 1990s, a ritual called tesseract working appeared and was in vogue for a while. It was based on the concept of multiple coexisting universes. It promised to allow one to jump from one universe to another at will. But, frankly, the ritual wasn't that mind-blowing. It had a neo-pagan structure and basically took you ritually through the entire major arcana of the tarot. Last we knew, the Golden Dawn has been doing this little trick for over 100 years now. At the time, we really didn't see what it had to do with jumping to another reality. But over the years, we have experienced what you can call reality jumping many times. You go through a significant ritual or life event where a lot of energy is raised. Then, afterward, you start noticing minor differences around you. For example, you might see a few landmarks, like roads, buildings, or even natural features, have changed, vanished, or even appeared where they were not before. Maybe a different actor starred in a popular movie. You may remember events happening that others do not, or vice versa. Perhaps even someone who was dead is suddenly alive. This isn't a phenomenon reserved for occultists, either. It has become a subject in modern pop culture and social media, having acquired the name Mandela Effect. The name is based on Nelson Mandela, who many people seem to remember dying as a political prisoner in South Africa in the 1980s. However, he died a free man in 2013. Another famous example is the children's book series The Berenstain Bears, which many people, myself included, clearly recall being spelled Berenstein in the 1980s. If you do a quick web search for Mandela Effect, you will find plenty of examples. And a relatively large number of people have personal examples. As far as I can tell, it doesn't take a specific ritual, like the tesseract working to achieve this effect. It seems to happen naturally when a large amount of energy is raised, be it a ritual or a traumatic event. But when it involves a ritual, it's as if you step between the worlds to enact the magic and somehow step back into a different reality than the one you left. The changes are rarely drastic and can, in fact, go unnoticed for some time, even if you are looking for them. This makes sense if we think of these parallel realities as clusters of strings, where neighboring realities are very similar, and the differences grow more prominent the further you go. It's unlikely you'll experience something so dramatic as living in an America that lost the Revolutionary War. Or living in a world ruled by Nazis who won World War II, sorry Philip K. Dick fans. Nor is it likely you will wake up in Cro-Magnon man world. However, you might find a local road now has a different name. Or maybe the road wasn't there before. Sometimes it is fun to compare notes with others and see where we have come together from other realities. Occultist Nick Farrell has suggested this might even be how all magic works. So what if magic is the method of programming the destination of your trip? It means that you are sliding into a reality where what you desire already exists. This is more than an intriguing thought, it's one of the premises behind this YouTube channel and the Awake Mind website. But the issue with magic is that it's not all that good at reality bending. Dare we say it sucks pretty hard? Because you'll be talking with magic practitioners with 20+ years of experience, and they'll tell you straight up that it's something you can't program or control. Simple spells and magic done through so-called familiar spirits do not result in reality jumping. Magically speaking, it takes massive amounts of spiritual energy to accomplish a reality shift. This doesn't mean it's impossible, but the results tend to be random. However, that doesn't stop people, politicians, gurus, and marketing departments across the planet from giving the magic the old college try. So much for mass reality changing. At best, it's an even money crap shot, but we don't gamble with our realities. So let's move the conversation over to personal reality, where we can do some powerful reality bending. Part 2. The art of reality bending. What are quantum jumps? Quantum jumping is when a person envisions some desired result different from the existing situation. Then using focus, intent, and sufficient energy, that person makes a leap into that alternate reality. What makes this work is that we live inside a living hologram. And the hologram has multiverse of parallel universes as a function of its existence. A quantum jump can be made through a kind of handshake through time and space. This connection forms a bridge that allows someone experiencing a quantum jump to physically end up in another reality. The link is so total that a person can literally walk into another place and time. Yet, both of you still exist. Your awareness of who you are coalesces in one reality, often leaving the other out of reach, out of sight, and out of mind. Does any of this seem outlandish or too far out to be real? While quantum jumping may at first sound like an idea from science fiction, this term actually covers a wide range of experiences, from the relatively mundane to the truly extraordinary. As you learn more about quantum jumps, you'll likely recognize when you've made a quantum jump. This often happens without you realizing it at the time. Imagine a child who receives a mother's kiss after falling down and skinning a knee and suddenly feels much better. Or a clinical trial participant with a headache is amazed to find a terrible headache suddenly gone upon taking a placebo, such as a sugar pill. Visualize another example of a man preparing for an interview by dressing for success in attire worn by those making the hiring decisions. In these examples, we find no material-based reason why the child and clinical study participant feel much better, and the interviewee feels more confident and self-assured. Still, chances are excellent that we've felt these inexplicably dramatic improvements many times in our lives over the years. Some quantum jumps can be leaps to a better future. We are capable of taking hundreds of quantum leaps on any given day. As a result, we can make decisions that seem inconsequential or minor at the time yet have the collective power to entirely transform our lives. In most cases, people experience walking into parallel worlds that are nearly, but not quite entirely, identical to the ones they came from. In such cases, it is possible to find something that has seemingly shifted in some surprising way. For example, a door or building may appear where one had not been before. Or maybe your keys were not where you left them, and after searching, you surprisingly find them in the oddest place, or even somewhere you already searched for. These types of quantum jumping reality shifts are remarkable. Yet, they often go unnoticed and unannounced unless we pay attention to them. How are they possible? Consider the idea that many times, possibly even every time, you make a decision or choice, you are actually moving between alternate realities, between parallel worlds. In these alternate realities, you can connect with the other you so strongly that conscious awareness and energy that you literally move into that other reality, quantum jumping in the process. When feeling so strongly connected to another self in a different reality, it's possible to gain direct access to knowledge available only in that time reality. What makes quantum jumping possible is that, like a quantum particle, every person can exhibit quantum behavior. While it seems unrealistic that you can do the things quantum particles can do, our current understanding of physics suggests that you can. Experimental observations at the quantum level change our assumptions about reality as we see that quantum particles are not always particles and sometimes exist as pure energy. Some kind of invisible connection exists between entangled quantum particles, so they move together simultaneously with non-local spooky action at a distance. Simply by observing an experiment we are affecting it, and, unlike classical physics, quantum behavior can only ever be predicted by probabilities. To explain some of this bizarre quantum behavior, Niels Bohr theorized that quantum particles exist as waves that might be anywhere until the wave function is collapsed. While Hugh Everett theorized that we live in a multiverse consisting of many worlds of parallel realities. Physicist John Cramer theorized that information can be exchanged between the past and future through a handshake between 2 points in space-time. And scientists David Bohm and Carl Pribram proposed that the universe is a giant hologram containing matter and consciousness in a single field. All this means to someone experiencing a quantum jump is that they can enter another parallel reality by relaxing and imagining they are accessing some kind of bridge, window, or doorway to another world with another self who has another set of characteristics, qualities, or skills. With quantum jumping, one makes the leap from simply imagining oneself in an alternate reality to actually being that other self. To understand quantum jumps, it's essential that we fully appreciate what quantum means. The word quantum in the field of physics is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as being a discrete quantity of energy proportional in magnitude to the frequency of the radiation it represents. Quantum mechanics is defined as the branch of mechanics that deals with the mathematical description of the motion and interaction of subatomic particles, incorporating the concepts of quantization of energy, wave-particle duality, the uncertainty principle, and the correspondence principle. This field of physics, studying the very small, sprang up to pursue the true nature of reality. Atoms consist of protons, neutrons, and electrons, spinning so rapidly through primarily empty space. We know they exist while invisible to the human eye, thanks to experiments with atom smashers. But then, discoveries of even smaller bits of matter rocked the world in the 20th century. But the most disturbing thing to scientists wasn't so much the minuscule size of these quantum particles as it was the way they behaved. Is there quantum weirdness on the macro scale? The behaviors exhibited at the quantum level are not expected on the macro scale of our daily lives. But this is because we're unaware and not paying attention. If we stop our constant business and observe our lives, we will notice the changes with our natural-born 5 senses. Your expanding and changing worldview depends on personal observations of the quantum behavior of your own life. As for what causes such remarkable behavior at the quantum level of reality, nobody knows is the most honest answer. The mathematical equations describing quantum behavior work beautifully well, yet the why and how are still mysterious. Numerous theories have tried to explain what's going on in their own unique way. We call them interpretations since they provide possible explanations for what might be going on based on some sound assumptions. But remember, these are assumptions, not hills to die on with your narrative as a tombstone. It's possible that several theories may work together rather than just one interpretation being correct. In our opinion, the holographic multiverse interpretation best suits this idea, because it's a combination of ideas that provides a more holistic, integrated version of the many possible worlds ideal. Within a holographic multiverse, there is an interconnectedness between each part of any given parallel universe and all other possible parallel worlds. Of course, this is all happening within the holographic multiverse itself. This way, we can gain an extraordinary view of reality that can genuinely broaden our minds and allow for the experience of quantum jumping, reality bending, or however you want to term it. So how do you do this reality jumping and bending? You begin by practicing visualization. Anyone who can relax, clear their mind, and envision being different in some way can quantum jump. The key is consistency. So many people waste time chasing feel-good guided meditations all over the internet and on YouTube instead of chasing the feeling of the new reality they are wanting. And this is not a swipe at anyone's else work. Because I much rather binge on some Brian Scott reality revolution or get lost in one of Joseph Rodriguez's mind maps to being a joyful entrepreneur. And you can spend your entire weekend with Lila and her Nevolution channel. These are all excellent uses of your free time. But there comes a point where you have to act, and then do it again and again and again. And just because it's mental action doesn't mean you get to be lazy. Anyone who is visualizing on a regular basis knows all too well how much work is involved. That's why most people quit long before their vision is crystallized. And this is why you absolutely must sincerely desire and feel a connection to the reality you want. Finally, you have to fall in love with what you want. This is the only surefire way to know that what you are doing is actually working. And there are many different types of techniques and meditations you can try, but you must make sure that they are interactive. Because nothing changes until you do. And you change you from the inside out. You change from the mental out to the material. Everything happens inside. The process is simple but not always easy. And yet you jump and bend reality. We all can.
And there it is, reality bending, the theory 101, with a little quantum mechanic gooey goo tossed in. Just because we felt like channeling our inner Joe Dispenza. But it doesn't matter what you call it, the quantum field, God's imagination, what the hell ever. The point is, can you tap into it and use it at will, and then keep using it until you get what the hell you want. What we're talking about here is magic. Without tears or regrets. That's right. We never said this was a selfless no-go channel. Nor are we to go out in the middle of nowhere and live in a homemade shack. Because you're pissed off that the world isn't beautiful enough. Nope. We'll grab the simulation by these nuts and squeeze until it cries uncle kind of channel. And maybe you won't become a new billionaire using visualizations. But shit, you can at least triple your income. Upgrade your living space. Take care of the spouse, the kids, and the side piece in style. And it's true, having 6- and 5-star hotels is way better than 3-star hotels. But that's what we want for you. To have more fun in your life, more fulfillment. Because we know that if you follow this path, you will sooner or later begin to wonder about the deeper meaning to all of this. And then we can have another kind of conversation. But until then, take damn good care of you. Lock out.